This is Jim Brown, the most devastating ball carrier in the history of football.
Jim Brown was more than just a football player. He was a force that forever changed the game. With an unparalleled combination of strength, speed, and pure willpower, Brown demolished defenses in a manner never seen before. His ability to take control of games, break tackles, and leave defenders reeling made him a terrifying opponent. But how did he manage to maintain dominance? Well, this is one story you won't want to miss. He was born on February 17, 1936 in St. Simons, Georgia, and moved to Manhasset, New York at a young age. His athletic talent became clear early on, and it wasn't long before he was a star. With time, he continued to grow as an athlete when he joined Syracuse University. After joining the football squad, he immediately established himself as a formidable opponent. But he had other passions than football, though. In addition to playing basketball and track, Brown was also well known for his lacrosse abilities. In fact, if he had taken that route, many people thought he would have been one of the all-time greats in lacrosse. His strength, speed, and dedication made him stand out in every discipline he touched, and his versatility as an athlete was unmatched. On the football field, though, Brown was something else entirely. His Syracuse performance laid the groundwork for his future success in the NFL. Scouts were drawn to his impressive performance of 2,091 yards and 26 touchdowns from his rush during that period. His most memorable performance, though, came in the Cotton Bowl, the last game of his college years, when he ran for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. By then, it was obvious that Brown was a star in the making rather than simply another college athlete. After his stellar college career, Jim Brown was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the first round of the 1957 NFL Draft. His transition to professional football was seamless, as he immediately began making an impact on the field. Brown was that spark, as he was prepared to leave his imprint immediately. While there were huge expectations, he topped them all by introducing his explosive and powerful rushing style to a league that had never seen anything like it. He didn't just walk into the NFL, he sprang onto the field and displayed the type of skill that would turn him into a legendary player. He quickly demonstrated as a rookie why the Browns had selected him. Impressively for a rookie, he led the league in rushing yards, 942 yards to be precise, and scored 9 touchdowns in his debut season. But it wasn't just the stats, it was also how he approached the game. Brown had a special blend of grace and strength when running. He was almost tough to tackle since he could easily knock down defenders or drag them along for extra yards. He was selected as the NFL's most valuable player at the end of his rookie season, an almost unheard of honor for a rookie at the time due to his obvious domination. But what made Brown's early career so remarkable was how effortless he made it look. While most rookies take time to adjust to the speed and physicality of the NFL, Brown appeared to have skipped that phase entirely. His vision, strength, and acceleration were unmatched, and his natural instincts for the game were evident from the start. Even seasoned veterans couldn't figure out how to stop him, and defenses across the league began game planning specifically for Brown, often yielding no results. He basically established a standard that few have been able to achieve, even decades later, by leading the league in rushing yards and touchdowns each year by the end of his first 3 seasons. He redefined what was possible for a running back, and he was more than simply a celebrity. He continued to create records that have survived the test of time. You see, before he retired, he had the most rushing yards in NFL history, having accumulated 12,312 over 9 seasons. With an astounding average of 104.3 rushing yards per game, still one of the greatest in league history, he accomplished this amazing record in just 118 games. Not only was Brown a reliable player, but he was an unstoppable force who could burst past opponents with his speed and power. One of the key highlights of his career came in 1963 when he rushed for 1,863 yards in just 14 games, a record that stood for years despite the fact that the season was much shorter than it is today. In that same season, he averaged 6.4 yards per carry, a mind-blowing statistic that underscored his efficiency and ability to gain huge chunks of yards on nearly every play. He wasn't just racking up stats for the sake of it. His contributions led the Cleveland Browns to countless victories and playoff appearances, including the 1964 NFL Championship, where he helped secure the team's victory with a dominating performance.
There's the long bomb to Collins, and he got the ball! He's in there for a touchdown! The Browns have won the championship 27-0.
In 8 of his 9 seasons as an NFL player, he led the league in rushing yards. Very few, if any, have ever achieved that kind of consistency. A record he held for years was the 106 rushing touchdowns he scored. He demonstrated that he was a dynamic weapon on the field by making plays both as a receiver and on the ground. He was capable of winning games by himself, and the mere sight of him made defenses adjust their tactics in an attempt to contain him. And not only was Brown physically unique, but he also had a high football IQ. With his ability to read defenses and make quick adjustments, he could always seem to find the proper gap to take advantage of. Beyond just numbers, his impact altered the running back position and established a new benchmark for performance. He demonstrated that a running back could be just as dominant in the field as a quarterback. Then came the time he decided to hang his boots. After leading the NFL in rushing yards in several seasons, Brown was at the height of his power at the moment. He was regarded as the league's most dominant player with 3 MVPs. While most sportsmen would keep playing and earn more awards, Jim Brown made a different decision. He was just ready to move on, not because of an accident or a drop in performance that led to his early retirement. Now that he had overcome the NFL, he was looking for fresh challenges off the field. So he joined the film The Dirty Dozen, a military movie that would go on to become a Hollywood smash. So when he was forced to choose between playing football and acting by club owner Art Modell, he decided to give up on the sport since the demands of the movie set conflicted with the Browns' training camp schedule. His decision to leave the NFL in the height of his game and with no signs of slowing down was as audacious as his running style. His retirement from football simply made him more enigmatic. He made sure his legacy was perfect by retiring on his terms. Even though he was still at the top of his game, he finished the game with a clear record, solidifying his legacy. After that one, he starred in several other movies over the following few decades, such as Any Given Sunday, 3 the Hard Way, and El Condor. His cinematic career was innovative, even if he never attained the same degree of domination in acting as he did in football. He literally broke through boundaries in a period when black performers had few options, creating opportunities for the next generations of athletes and actors. His experiences as a black man in America laid the foundation for his dedication to social justice. He was aware of the difficulties facing his neighborhood and felt that he should use his position to change things. So, with no time, he arranged the Cleveland Summit in 1967, which brought together prominent African-American sportsmen to openly endorse Muhammad Ali's choice to decline being drafted into the Vietnam War. Undeniably, he was instrumental in this event, which is frequently regarded as one of the most important turning points in the history of the fusion of athletics and activism. And even if some of his opinions during this period provoked controversy, his actions and willingness to voice his opinions won him the admiration of many. But on May 19, 2023, he decided to leave us.
Well, we have breaking news this afternoon. A sports legend has died. Pro Football Hall of Famer Jim Brown, a family spokesperson saying he died last night at his LA home with his wife by his side. Considered one of the greatest players in NFL history.
As the news of his death spread, tributes poured in from all corners of the world, from athletes who admired his dominance to those who revered him for his activism. But even though he's no longer with us, his legacy continues to resonate. He wasn't just a player who dominated his era. He was a pioneer who showed the world that greatness extends beyond stats and awards. His legacy is still relevant today, and it's not a surprise that many people still rank him as the all-time great running back.